Good day and welcome to Alena Media TV. We are broadcasting from Canada, and in today's episode we are bringing you editorial. The fighting continues. A Tigray town reels from drawn-out war. The fighting continues. A Tigray town reels from a drawn-out war. Let's go for a quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back from that short break. In today's editorial, Kibrom Hailu wasn't too worried when his 15-year-old son stepped out to play volleyball one morning last month near their home in Wukro, in Ethiopia's conflict-hit Tigray region. There had been protests in town that week, young men burning ties and denouncing Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. But his son, Enoch, wasn't involved and promised not to go far. Only when he heard gunfire did Kibrom realize that there's danger, and by then it was too late. Enoch's body lay dead in the dirt road right outside the gate of their compound. Enoch was one of the 18 civilians shot and killed that day by Ethiopian soldiers, according to the tally provided by St. Mary's College in Wukro, which has documented abuses by security forces against civilians in the town since fighting erupted last November. For Kibrom, though the timing was just as revealing as the toll, the killings came around 2.5 months after Abiy announced military operations in Tigray had ceased and life would return to normal. In fact, the opposite is true. Kibrom and other Wukro residents told the media who reached the town earlier this month that the war is escalating. Now it is focused on the civilians. Kibrom said, "How can we live like this?" Every phase of the 4-month-old conflict in Tigray has brought suffering to Wukro and the family, a fast-growing transport hub once best known for its religious and archaeological sites. Ahead of federal forces' arrival in late November, heavy shelling leveled homes and businesses and sent plumes to dust and smoke rising above near deserted streets. Since then, the town has been heavily patrolled by soldiers, Eritreans at first, now mostly Ethiopians, whose abuses fuel a steady flow of civilian casualties and stoke danger with Nobel Peace Prize winner Abiy. "We are constantly receiving patients who are injured by the war," said Dr. Adonai Hans, medical director of the Wukro General Hospital. "If somebody says there is no war in Tigray, that would be a joke for me," he said. Now, the sons of junta. Abiy sent troops into Tigray on November 4th after blaming the region's once-dominated ruling party, the Tigray People's Liberation Front, for attacks on army camps. Several weeks later, as federal forces advanced on the regional capital Mekelle, Wukro residents realized that their town, 50 kilometers 31 miles north, would be overrun. Many fled to the surrounding mountains, looking on in horror as shells rained down on the town, some recording the carnage with their cell phones. Buildings in Wukro, including schools and hospitals, have been looted, with residents blaming Eritrean troops. What they returned to was even worse. Angry Eritreans who spent days looting homes, banks, and factories, and shooting dead scores of young men suspected of sympathizing with the TPLF junta. According to religious and medical officials, killing is their kind of daily job and work. They don't even sense that they are killing people, a Catholic official in Wukro said to the Eritreans, requesting anonymity to avoid reprisals. Nebiyu Kiflom, a building materials vendor, was home with his housemates, including 3 of his brothers, when Eritreans barged through the door one night in late November. They said, "You are the sons of the junta." He recalled, "We were just sitting at home. We weren't doing anything." Priest Gebrehama Haile Mariam says that he has buried dozens of young men killed in Wukro. The soldiers killed 6 people that night, and Nebiyu was stuck indoors for 3 days with the bodies before he summoned the courage to go for help. By early December, a crowd of young men were dead in Wukro, including 81 now buried at the back of the Orthodox Church. "We have seen the bodies with our own eyes. We have buried them," says the priest Gebrehane Haile Mariam. "They were killed in the town and brought to us. None of the death tolls provided could be independently verified. During the first wave of killings, Wukro residents had almost no access to medical care. Damage from shelling and looting destroyed 75% of the hospital's facilities and equipment, forcing it to close for a whole month," said Dr. Adonai, the medical director. The timing could not have been worse for Elizabeth. The timing could not have been worse for Elizabeth Gebrekaden, who delivered twins in early December and suffered what her family believes was postpartum hemorrhage. Elias Gebrekaden is now helping raise his nieces after their mother, her sister, died for lack of medical care. Her brother, Elias, pleaded with a soldier for permission to hire an ambulance to take her to Mekelle for treatment, but he was rebuffed. He said to me, "Get out of my face. You are a son of the junta," Elias recalled, tears streaming down his face at the memory. Elizabeth died after 4 days at home, leaving Elias to raise the twins, the girls named Chion and Rhoda, with the help of his mother. These days, the hospital is open and running, albeit at limited capacity. Patients include rape survivors, some of whom wait weeks or months before seeking medical care, and freshly wounded civilians who gave an idea of just close fighting continues to be. Looting and shelling has left Wukro's hospital badly damaged and under-equipped. One recent afternoon, a 45-year-old construction worker named Meles was being treated for a gunshot blast to his right thigh. He said Ethiopian and Eritrean soldiers had opened fire on civilians in his hometown at Agula, 12 kilometers south of Wukro, one morning in late February after pro-TPLF forces ambushed one of their oppositions in the town. Still, the fighting continues, Meles said. The international community needs to act now before it's too late, before we all vanish. This is our home. Ethiopia's military did not respond to requests for comment, though the Abiy's government has previously rejected allegations that soldiers have killed civilians in Tigray. Both Addis Ababa and Asmara denying Eritrean soldiers are in the region at all, despite contrary accounts from residents, aid workers, diplomats, and members of Tigray's Abiy-appointed interim government. Wukro's shop owners are still trying to scrape a living from what is left after the shelling and looting. These claims draw mocking laughter on Wukro's main commercial drag, where glass from shut-out windows litters sidewalks, and shopkeepers stand before empty shelves, clutching photographs of what their businesses looked like before the war. The pro-TPLF network, Dimchi Yewani, recently aired a 13-minute video highlighting the scars of conflict in Wukro, with a narrator lamenting that the town, once an earthly paradise, now looks like Syria and Yemen. Residents of their part said what they want most is for soldiers to leave so they could rebuild what is left. They shouldn't stay here even for a single night, said Nibeyu, the building materials vendor. This is our home. It is where we live. Otherwise, we will all leave the town. This is where we end today's episode on editorial. If you want to help these people in war as well, you can also donate to our PayPal account and our GoFundMe account as well. You can check the link below and send every details. That will really appreciate that, and it will go a very long way to help all the stranded people in Eritrea and Ethiopia, Sudan as well. Thank you so much for watching.